You're healing, but still addicted to chaos. Most people jump into healing routines, but end up feeling just as lost as when they started. The truth is, what's sold as healing today is more about how it looks than how it works. If you don't want to keep letting yourself down, you need to see why most healing advice falls flat and why tapping into ancestral frameworks changes everything. Stay with me until the end. This could change your life. Put your thinkers on. Comment order if you're tired of chaos. Are you really healing, or are you just performing healing? Let's get into why so many healing routines keep you trapped in the same chaos you're trying to escape. You set up the candles, the crystals, the affirmations. Every morning you go through the motions. But somewhere along the way, the routine itself starts to feel heavy. You're checking off boxes, trying to look like you're doing the work. And somewhere in all of that, you start wondering if you're actually moving forward or just putting on an act for yourself and everyone watching. Maybe it's that journal on your nightstand, the one you barely touch, or the therapy words you picked up from Instagram. All these tools are supposed, to help. But what if they're just distractions? Sit with that. When did healing become about how it looks instead of how it feels? And who's really getting something out of that? Look around. You're scrolling through an industry built on aesthetics. Social feeds are flooded with therapy buzzwords, stage yoga mats, and creators repeating choose peace over chill beats. The message is clear. If it looks like it's healing, it must be healing. But that's not real. Good vibes only. It isn't a strategy. Let that sink in. Why that aesthetically pleasing chaos keeps pulling you back? Surface level practices fall short because they have no foundation. If what you're doing doesn't shape your choices, your standards, or what you let slide, it's not healing. It's a distraction. You might sit with crystals to feel grounded, but when commotion shows up, do you actually have boundaries that protect your energy? You say, I am strong, I am love, but have you built systems to support those words? Instagram therapy is quick to hand out terms like boundaries and self-love, but rarely give you a framework. A single quote about cutting off toxic people doesn't teach you how to actually stop old cycles. Most of these routines keep you in the same spot, stuck in ideas with nothing to anchor them. It goes deeper. This kind of healing copies the chaos it claims to fix. If your affirmations or journaling doesn't shift how you feel, you get frustrated and reach for more tools, more routines, more noise. It's problems dressed up as progress, scattered energy, but now it's called self-care. Real healing isn't about piling on new habits. It's about what you stop tolerating. Without a structure, you'll put up with anything. Stop talking about the things you don't want and start talking about the things you do want. Let's shift the lens. The ancestors didn't just survive, they built order. They didn't have sticky notes or live stream meditation, but they knew healing meant structure. In many West African societies, for example, community councils had boundaries, rituals. If someone crossed the line, the whole community took part in restoring balance. These weren't just random facts, they were systems for protecting energy, holding people accountable, and making sure disorder didn't spread. That's ancestral science in action. They didn't just cut off what hurts you, they asked, what are you building to replace it? Compare that to now. You set a boundary once, but with no system behind it, you let it slide the next time someone crosses it. You work hard to stay positive, but without a framework, negativity sneaks back in. It's a loop, one that keeps you off balance. Healing built on looks instead of structure leaves you tired, second guessing yourself, and wondering why nothing's changing. The truth is, healing isn't about adding more, it's about learning to stop. So, what does that mean for you? Healing is less about what you reach for and more about what you refuse to hold on to. The weight of unstructured chaos keeps you from building order. If you're exhausted from doing the work, maybe you just been decorating disorder instead of breaking it down. Every time you stop putting up with something that drains you, you make space to restore your energy. Healing starts with subtraction, not addition, right? It's a removal process. But if healing is really about boundaries, why do so many of us get stuck in toxic cycles? What keeps us reaching for the same draining people, habits, and environments? That's the addiction to trouble. Next, we'll break down how trauma bonds rewire your brain. Stay tuned. Think about it. Why do you keep circling back to the same people, habits, environments that leave you drained? You've read the books, talked it out in therapy, maybe even journaled about it, but somehow you're still pulled right back in. That push and pull you feel, knowing what's toxic but not letting it go, has a pattern. This isn't just a bad habit, it's an addiction to trouble. Not the kind you find in a bottle or pill, but the kind that's built on emotional highs and lows, on drama, on a familiar feeling of dysfunction. That's addiction. It literally rewires your brain to crave what hurts you. When you grow up around madness, childhood or adulthood, your nervous system learns to expect it. Your body gets used to fight or flight mode so much that it becomes normal. Here's the fucked up part. Your brain starts linking chaos with safety just because it's what you know. Pain becomes your baseline. Anything healthy or stable feels weird, even uncomfortable. So you end up choosing people and situations that look just like the dysfunction you swore you would leave behind. The friend who only hits you or talk about drama, that's not random. You're drawn into it because it feels like home, even when it's tearing you down. They erased this in school. Trust me, they didn't teach you this. Unresolved trauma doesn't just haunt you, it trains you to look for the same kind of problems over and over. You might cut off one toxic relationship, right? But without a system, you'll find yourself in another just like it. That's why you keep forgiving the same people, making excuses, or letting boundaries slide. The cycle keeps spinning and you will be stuck in the middle. Let's get personal for a second. Picture that one friend who only texts you when something's going wrong in their life. Every message is a new crisis, a new problem. But when you need support, they're nowhere to be found. It drains you, but you keep responding anyways. That's addiction to messy shit in real time. And you might think you're helping, but really you're just feeding the cycle. How much clarity did you lose trading peace for gossip? It's not just about relationships. Gossip, loops, resentment cycles, trauma bonds, they all work the same way. Gossip might feel harmless, like you're venting or bonding, but what do you get after? Your energy is drained because you spent it on someone else's troubles instead of building your own peace. How much clarity did you lose trading peace for gossip? Trauma bonds make you believe that suffering together is real connection, but all it does is build dependency. Keeps you replaying hurt instead of moving forward. Every time you feed into these cycles, chaos quietly steals your energy. Our ancestors had a different approach. In Akan communities, when a tie became toxic, they didn't just talk about it, they acted, they performed. Rituals, pouring water or alcohol to the ground as a way to sever unhealthy bonds and protect their spirit. That wasn't just ceremony, it was a system for energetic protection. They didn't let slide. Boundaries were survival, not just a buzzword. If somebody kept crossing lines, there were real steps to cut off that issue and restore balance. Let that sit for a second. Every toxic cycle you allow is a moment of clarity, energy, growth, and you're giving it away. You can journal, manifest, or meditate, but if you don't know how to protect your space, healing slips right through your hands. Your ancestors didn't just talk about peace, they built systems to defend it. That's the part we need to reclaim. So, What does this mean for you right now? Healing isn't about how you feel in the moment. It's about building a system that protects your energy and keeps turmoil out. If you keep letting toxic cycles run your life, you'll always be one step behind real order. Healing isn't a feeling or a vibe. It's a system that protects your energy and roots your life in real order. Without a foundation, chaos just circles back. You don't heal by adding more distractions or chasing bugs. You heal by building boundaries strong enough to defend your peace. If this hit home, join a real conversation in the Discord. Drop a comment, protect it if you're in. If you're ready to build real order, hit subscribe. Let's keep going. So what's the first thing you'll stop putting up with today? Don't be stuck and done forever. Let's learn and grow together.